What if I told you that the biggest reason you're still not fluent in English is something you do automatically without even realizing it? Something that feels completely normal, feels like it's helping you, but it's actually the one thing silently destroying your progress every single day.
And here's the scariest part. The more you do it, the harder it becomes to stop. It's like a trap, and most English learners are stuck inside it right now.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Audio Lingo English, the podcast where we don't just teach you English, we change the way you think in English. I'm Emma.
And I'm Alex. And today we are getting into something that I genuinely wish someone had told me years ago. Because if I had known this one thing earlier, I would have become fluent so much faster.
Same. Honestly, same. And before we dive in, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now because every single episode on this channel is designed to push your English to the next level. We don't do boring grammar lessons here. We do real conversation, real strategies, real results.
And if you've been here before, welcome back. You already know what we're about. Let's get into it.
Okay, Alex, let me ask you something. When you were learning English in the very beginning, what was the first thing you did when you heard a word you didn't understand?
Oh, immediately, without even thinking, I translated it. Like my brain would just automatically go, okay, what does that mean in my language? And then once I had that translation, I felt safe. I felt like, okay, now I understand.
Right. And that feeling of safety, that's the trap. Because it feels like understanding, but it's not real understanding.
Exactly. It's borrowed understanding. You're not understanding English, you're understanding your own language using English as a middleman.
And this is what we're talking about today, translating in your head. This habit that almost every English learner has, and almost nobody talks about how damaging it actually is.
Let me tell you something. I remember sitting in an English class years ago, and my teacher said something in English, and I understood every single word individually, like I could translate each word, but I had absolutely no idea what the sentence meant.
Because meaning doesn't live in individual words, meaning lives in the feeling of the language. And when you're constantly translating, you're missing that feeling completely.
It's like, okay, imagine you're watching a movie, a really emotional scene, and instead of just watching it and feeling it, someone is pausing it every 5 seconds and explaining it to you in a textbook way. You lose the emotion, you lose the experience.
That's such a good analogy, and that's exactly what mental translation does to language. It breaks the flow, it kills the naturalness, and it makes you slow, really, really slow.
And slow is the real problem, because in a real conversation, nobody waits for you to translate. Nobody pauses while you search for the right word in your head. The conversation keeps moving, and you're stuck 3 sentences behind.
I want to share something personal here because I think this is going to hit a lot of you very hard. When I first started really studying English, I was so proud of my translation skills. Like I genuinely thought the faster I can translate, the better I am at English. I thought speed of translation was the same as fluency.
Oh, wow. And what happened?
I got to a point where I could translate incredibly fast, like almost instant, and I thought, okay, I'm nearly fluent. And then I had my first real conversation with a native speaker, a casual, relaxed conversation, and I completely fell apart.
What do you mean fell apart?
I mean, I understood maybe 40% of what they said. Not because the vocabulary was hard, not because the grammar was complex, but because they were speaking naturally, with rhythm, with contractions, with emotion. And my brain was so trained to translate that it couldn't just receive the language. It kept trying to convert everything. And by the time I finished converting one sentence, they were already 3 sentences ahead.
That's such a real experience, and I think so many people listening right now have felt exactly that. That moment where you realize, wait, I studied for months, maybe years, and I still can't follow a real conversation.
And the worst part, it's not a knowledge problem, it's a thinking pattern problem. And thinking patterns are so much harder to change than vocabulary or grammar.
Let's talk about why this happens. Why do we translate in the first place? Because it's not like we chose to do it, it happens.
It happens because that's how we were taught. Think about it. Almost every traditional English class starts with translation. The teacher says a word in English, writes the translation on the board, you write it in your notebook. Word equals word. That's the system.
And it works for tests, for fill-in-the-blank exercises, for reading slowly with a dictionary next to you, but it completely fails for real communication.
Because real communication is not about matching words. Real communication is about matching feelings, matching context, matching rhythm, and none of that survives translation.
Okay, here's something I want people to really sit with for a second. Think about your own language, your mother tongue. When someone says something to you, do you translate it in your head before you understand it?
Of course not. You just understand, instantly, without any middle step.
Right, the word just arrives and the meaning is already there. There's no process, there's no conversion. It's immediate. That's what fluency feels like, and that's what we need to build in English.
And here's the plot twist. Are you ready for this?
Oh, I love a good plot twist.
The plot twist is the very habit that feels like it's helping you understand English is the exact habit that is preventing you from ever becoming truly fluent. Translation is not a stepping stone to fluency. Translation is a wall.
Okay, yeah, that actually gave me chills a little bit, because when you say it like that, it reframes everything. All those years of translating, feeling like you're making progress when actually you're reinforcing the barrier.
Exactly. Every time you translate, you're training your brain that English needs to be converted before it can be understood. And your brain is incredibly good at learning habits, so it gets better and better at translating and worse at thinking directly in English.
So what do we do about it? Because I know right now some people are listening and they're thinking, okay, this is terrifying, but how do I actually stop? Like, I can't just decide not to translate. It happens automatically.
Right, and this is the part I love, because the solution is not willpower. You cannot willpower your way out of this. The solution is replacement. You replace the habit of translating with a new habit, and that new habit is thinking in images.
Okay, say more about that.
So instead of hearing the word apple and thinking, oh, that means manzana or pomme or whatever your language is, you hear the word apple and you see an apple, red, shiny. Maybe you even feel the texture, smell it. The word connects directly to the real thing, not to another word.
That's actually how children learn language. Kids don't learn their first language through translation, they learn it through experience. Someone says hot, and they touch something hot, and their brain connects that word directly to that feeling. No translation involved.
And this is why children become fluent so effortlessly. Not because they're smarter, not because their brains are special, but because they never developed the translation habit in the first place. They went directly from word to meaning.
So we need to rewire ourselves to learn the way we should have learned from the beginning.
Exactly. And it's possible, completely possible. But it requires conscious effort, especially at the beginning, because your brain is going to want to translate. It's going to feel uncomfortable not translating. And that uncomfortable feeling is actually a sign that you're doing it right.
That's such an important reframe. The discomfort means growth.
Always. Can I tell you a quick story about one of my students?
Please, yes.
So I had a student, let's call her Sophia. She had been studying English for 6 years. 6 years! She had excellent grammar, she knew thousands of words, but she could barely hold a conversation. And when I started working with her, I noticed immediately. She was translating everything. Even when she was speaking, she was composing sentences in her language first and then converting them to English. And that's why she was so slow. That's why her sentences sounded a little unnatural.
That's such a vivid way to put it, dressed up. The structure of one language wearing the clothes of another.
And it shows. Native speakers can feel it, even if they can't explain what's off. There's a stiffness, a slight delay, a structure that doesn't quite feel natural. And the listener starts to feel a little disconnected from you, even if they understand every word you're saying.
So what did you do with Sophia?
First thing I told her was stop using a bilingual dictionary, completely. Even if you don't know a word, find an English explanation of it. Because the moment you look up the translation, you've reinforced that word in your mind as a foreign object that needs to be converted. But if you find an English explanation, suddenly that word exists inside the English world. It belongs there.
That's brilliant, and it probably feels really hard at first.
So hard. Sophia almost quit in the first week. She said it felt like she was learning less because she wasn't getting the clean, clear translation she was used to. But what she didn't realize is that the discomfort was her brain being forced to build new connections, real connections, English to meaning directly.
And did it work?
3 months later, 3 months, Sophia was having comfortable, flowing conversations. Not perfect, but natural. She stopped being the person who pauses for 5 seconds before every response. She just started talking.
That's incredible, and 3 months is really not that long in the context of 6 years of struggling.
That's the thing. When you fix the root problem, progress is fast because the knowledge was always there. She always had the vocabulary, the grammar. She just needed to access it differently.
Okay, I want to give people something really practical right now, something they can start doing today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today.
Let's do it.
So, the first thing, and this is the most powerful one, start narrating your life in English, in your head. Whatever you're doing, making coffee, walking to work, cooking dinner, describe it to yourself in English. Not out loud necessarily, just in your mind. And here's the key, don't translate. Just find the English words directly for what you see and feel.
This is so good because what you're doing is you're practicing thinking in English during moments where there's no pressure. You're not in a conversation, nobody's waiting for your response. You can go slow, you can pause, and gradually, your brain starts to default to English first.
And the second thing, watch English content without subtitles. Or if you need subtitles, use English subtitles, not your language's subtitles. Because the moment you see the translation, your brain grabs it and the English becomes invisible.
And don't skip this step. I know it feels harder. I know you'll miss things, but missing things and pushing through is part of the process. Your brain will start filling in gaps. And that skill, that ability to understand from context, is one of the most important skills in real fluency.
And